This is the Hackamore knot, sometimes called a bottle knot. It was taught to me by my dad, who was raised on a ranch in Yakima, Washington. Seems the indigenous Yakima people used the Hackamore knot in their rig for riding horses. First, a halter of bent wood and leather went over the horse's nose. Then, the ball at the bottom of the halter was inserted into the Hackamore knot, and the knot was tightened. After that, the loop of rope was either placed over the horse's nose or left to dangle. The loose ends, coming from the knot, shown much shorter here, go all the way back to the rider and become the reins, just like what we see here. Thus the rider has full control of the horse, nudging his nose gently to one side or the other, or pulling back to a halt, all without tearing at his mouth the way a bit does. Nifty, huh? I also mentioned the name bottle knot. When tightened around the neck of a bottle, this knot can be used to easily transport a heavy bottle. Just so. But showing the different uses of the Hackamore knot isn't what we're about here. Instead, I want to teach you how to tie it. Or should I say loop it? Because rather than linking loose ends as with a standard knot, for the Hackamore we weave one loop inside and out of some other loops until it becomes something like this. So let's go step by step over the process, shall we? To begin with, we need at least 2 feet of pliable rope. I have about 4 feet here. Even more than that doesn't matter. For the first step, we put the 2 ends together and form a long loop. Second step, we take the peak end of that long loop and fold it back over itself, thus forming 2 other loops. When we're satisfied that our new loops are fairly equal in size, we grasp the peak of the original loop and hold it tight to the tail ends that pass beneath. Now for the third step. Pick up the top of the bottom loop and put it over the bottom of the top loop, thus creating an opening like this. We make sure that our new opening is at least 1 inch wide, which it is, and that we maintain our grasp on the original loop and the 2 tails, whereby we can proceed to step 4. Slide all the fingers of our free hand underneath the bottom of the new opening, then poke them up and out of the middle, then backward, pushing them over the top of the bottom loop. Onward to step 5. Without moving our thumb from the head of the original loop, we push it between the 2 tails until it creates a loop of its own around our thumb, like this. Now, with the fingers of the opposite hand, we firmly grab that little loop and hold tight. Pausing here, we take note of the loop that rests across the fingers of our grasping hand, which moves us on to step 6. With the other thumb now free, we reach over and hook the loop off the opposite hand and hang on to it gently. At the same time, the opposite hand pulls the thumb loop through the other loops and gradually reveals what now appears to be the formation of a knot. Meanwhile, the other hand releases the loose loop, takes hold of the end tails and pulls in the opposite direction, and as the knot coalesces, we witness the magical appearance of the Hackamore knot. There's one more interesting thing about the Hackamore knot, and that's what happens when we make a crucial mistake in an effort to form the Hackamore. It's called the lover's knot. This is an easy screw-up. Once we've doubled our loop and formed our third opening, instead of sliding our fingers under that opening, we dive in from above. Then we simply reach over while the other hand makes the thumb loop, and we snag it. Now, just as with the Hackamore, we change direction and bring the thumb loop back through the other loops, and at the same time the other hand takes hold of the tails and tugs in the opposite direction. And as we continue to pull the ends apart, 2 overhand knots appear around the strands of rope. Then, by working the ropes like a puppeteer, we can bring the knots together and slide them apart. Together and apart. Thus the name, the lover's knot. Meanwhile, back to the Hackamore knot. Once you're proficient at its formulation, you can amaze your friends by snatching their beer bottles or snagging their fingers. And remember, there are more videos on Donnie Door's channel and some worthwhile ebooks at www.doortricks.com. So long for now. See you on the next knot.